Yeah, you read the title right. Uraraka versus the Demon Slayer core is not even close in the slightest. And no, I'm not saying that the Demon Slayers are winning this. You probably think I've gone off the deep end, that I'm a fucking lunatic. But Uraraka would genuinely stomp the entire Demon Slayer core, and I can prove it. Let's get Demon Slayer scaling out of the way first. When I say the Demon Slayer core, I'm mainly talking about the Hashira and the other strong Demon Slayers such as Tanjiro, Shinetsu, Inosuke, blah blah blah, as literally everyone else is fodder and we haven't seen what the other, like, high-ranking Demon Slayers are even capable of. Some of the weaker Hashira, like Tengen, would scale to around building level to large building level, with the strongest Hashira being at best around multi-city block level from scaling of Doma. Generally, I don't think using this or creation feats in general is valid for scaling AP, because we don't know the difference in effort put into a punch and the creation of, for example, this sculpture. And this level of power is also kind of an outlier, as even Muzan gets severely injured by, like, building level explosions. But even though I don't really agree with this line of scaling, I'll just use it anyway because it really doesn't matter. For speed, characters like Shinetsu are able to move at hypersonic plus speeds early in the series, and Tengen can even dash shorter distances at high hypersonic speeds, with the best feats in the series reaching like the low massively hypersonic levels of speed. So now we have like a dozen characters, all with around multi-city block level AP and durability, and they are around low massively hypersonic. So can Uraraka really beat this? Yes. In this fight, AP doesn't really matter, because Uraraka can just use her quirk on everyone and send them into space. She only really needs to be much faster than the verse. And not only is she much faster, but she doesn't even need to quirk, as she is much stronger as well. During the sports festival, Uraraka is able to tank multiple explosions from Bakugo. Mind you, this Bakugo was not holding back, and this same Bakugo would be relative to how strong he was during the Two Heroes movie, in which he created a multi-city block level explosion. I know someone is gonna claim that Bakugo's explosions aren't as strong as when he's fighting Uraraka because they were not as big, but we have seen time and time again that the size of explosions can be condensed while still doing similar amounts of damage, with the only exceptions being like the explosions generated from his gauntlets. Toga can then damage a much stronger Uraraka, and Uraraka can fight on par with Toga, possibly putting Uraraka in these small town levels of power. We can also scale her much higher than this, as Bakugo's explosions can break Todoroki's ice, the same ice that can withstand large town level plus attacks from Wolfram, and since Uraraka gets much stronger later on, it's not outrageous to say she could possibly even reach these small city levels of power. Now for speed. Uraraka would be relative to characters like Froppy, who are able to react to an attack from a near high-end Nomu. The reason why this is so impressive is because near high-ends would scale above upper-tier Nomu, which can keep up with All Might, who I've scaled to around 6 times faster than light multiple times. Now this doesn't make Froppy FTL, but seeing as he could react to it, her being between subrelativistic and subrelativistic plus is a fair estimate. You can also scale her way higher than this by scaling off of Toga, who can sort of tag Deku, but we don't know how serious Deku was here, and she also kind of caught him off guard. But either way, Uraraka just completely outscales the verse in both power and speed, and like I mentioned earlier, doesn't actually need to attack, as she can just hit everyone with her anti-gravity quirk, and then have them all float into space, counting as battlefield removal, which means she wins. And she doesn't actually even need to touch anyone because of her quirk awakening. This just isn't fair. Uraraka stomps the entire Demon Slayer core, and the only reason she doesn't solo the verse is because she can't kill demons. She could use her quirk, but because if they escaped into the Infinity Council, her quirk wouldn't do much, because there's no space to float into. Now, if you like this video, if you want to see more versus battles or scaling videos in general, then hit that subscribe button and leave a comment suggesting what video I should make next.